Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian. Today we're going to kind of go over some NFL stuff instead of my normal college takes, some of which are pretty have been pretty wild lately. While I obviously don't do a ton of NFL content, I obviously do follow the Lions to a certain extent, being from Michigan, and of course, plenty of Michigan players in the NFL to follow. But we're just kind of gonna go over it being the middle of the season, kind of go over that and see where that's at right now. So I did actually watch a fair portion of that Denver to Las Vegas game, and it pretty much proves why I watch college football more than pro. That game was downright awful in virtually every way it was possible for a game to be awful. But Denver won, so it was more like somebody had to win because they're too busy trying to lose. Yeah, it was not a fun game to watch. I probably tuned out halfway through because it was just awful. But hopefully the next couple games, obviously we have a game in Germany, I believe it is, between Atlanta and Indianapolis. So Atlanta is starting to, while they have had some ups and downs, they are starting to kind of pick up the pace. Bijan Robinson, obviously a very talented running back, and that team is starting to find an identity. So I think they're going to give Indianapolis a fight. However, that being said, Indianapolis they just got Sauce Gardner in a big trade. Daniel Jones is actually playing like an NFL quarterback since he's been there. And they're ever since Ursay died, his daughter's taken over, and she's giving Chris Ballard, the GM, of just a wide scope to make that team better. And for all intents and purposes, he has done so. So it'd be interesting. I think Colts win, but I don't think that's going to be a blowout by any stretch. Those are two teams that are starting to outside of, I believe the Colts lost to the Steelers last week. But other than that, both these teams are looking slowly beginning to look better as time goes on. So it'll be interesting. Buffalo and Miami. Oh, Miami's in a just misery. Tyreek Hill's done. Tua is just struggling. So I think Buffalo's peaking. I think Josh Allen's going to run Miami out of the stadium no matter where they could be playing anywhere in the world. And I mean, they're playing I believe the Hard Rock is in Miami, but I think Buffalo wins that easily. Baltimore, Minnesota, obviously JJ McCarthy is probably going to be starting that game. Um, but Lamar Jackson is back from injury. So it's going to be hard fought. I really think it's going to come down to defensive struggles. So I would imagine, I really think Minnesota probably has a better defense. But Baltimore's, Baltimore's not a team to be you not a team to underestimate. So I would say Minnesota probably wins that one, but it could go either way. And like I said, not an NFL guy, so I have no real stake in either one of these teams. Cleveland, the Jets. Here's how you know this team. This is one of the most worst matchups. The tickets are starting at like $27, 26.40. Not a premier matchup. In fact, these two teams are literally disasters in uniforms. So I don't know why Miles Garrett stayed with Cleveland. Ain't no amount of money could have kept me there if I was him, but he made that choice. He looked amazing against the Patriots. So I think the Cleveland beats the Jets just because the Jets are just they're in a fire sale. They're selling everything. They got rid of Sauce Gardner, Quinn Williams. Surprised they didn't get rid of Brees Hall. They should have. Goodness. Sorry. Um, Jacksonville and Houston. I think Jacksonville is the better team here. Houston, they're underperforming in my opinion, but I think Jacksonville's a better team. New England and Tampa, man, Baker Mayfield's been cooking, but so is Drake May. So is New England dynasty back, or is Tampa Bay? Is that just they haven't been playing the quality teams? It's really difficult to say. I think Tampa Bay is the better team here, so I think they win. But under no circumstances should anybody be sleeping on New England. They are really good, and Drake May is ascending as a quarterback. So kudos to them. New Orleans and Carolina. You know what? I like Rico Dowdell, so I think Carolina wins, and not to mention it's New Orleans. They are a flaming hot pile of garbage this year, so that's the likely case. The Giants in Chicago. Now, if Scatterbo was playing, I would give the Giants the edge here because him and Dart together, it's like just complete psychos on offense. They're just crazy. However, Scatterbo being hurt and Jackson Dart, while still good quarterback, he is, rookie, still finding his way. I think defensively, Chicago should pull this off. It's not like they're an amazing team, but they're respectable to say the least. So I think Chicago probably wins that. But yeah, they are respectable in their own right. Williams is not a bad quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. Arizona, Seattle. I watched Arizona beat the Cowboys. Um, and I think the Cowboys in Seattle are similar in terms of just potential. Maybe obviously there's some differences. Seattle doesn't quite have the stars on offense, but they have a good enough team. If I had to rank them in Dallas, I'd have them in similar ranking just because how the team as a whole. So I think Arizona could beat Seattle. I believe they're playing in Seattle, Lumen Field. Where is Lumen Field? I wish I knew. Wherever, if they're playing in Seattle, I'm not worried about it. If they're playing in Seattle, then I think Seattle wins. But it could be a really good game or it could be a disaster one way or another. But I think Arizona's the better team there. Detroit versus Washington. Bad luck for the Commanders losing Jane Daniels. They're just, oh, um, if Detroit's coming off a loss to Minnesota, they're going to want to win. And Aiden Hutchinson could victimize whoever's at quarterback for Washington. I don't know who the backup is, but I would be saying all kinds of prayers right now because Aiden Hutchinson is going to victimize your offensive line along with whoever else decides to show up that day. So I think that's going. I think Detroit wins that. I don't even think it's going to be really that close without Jane Daniels and Terry McLaurin's out, Jane Daniels out. Like they have a laundry list of people who are on IR or just hurt. So Detroit, I think Detroit pulls that out and comfortably. So I wouldn't look past it to say that Aiden Hutchinson has more than 2 sacks or more, which is a lot for the end. Like LA Rams in San Francisco. I like San Fran, but I like LA more, mostly because Stafford. He was a loyal Lion for a long time, and I respect that. I think the Rams are just a slightly better team and virtually all around. But that's not to say San Francisco is a bad team by a stretch. I just think the Rams are better, so I think they take that one. The Chargers in Pittsburgh. It's hard to say. So Chargers, I think coach wise, they have a better coach, and I think Herbert is more talented right now than Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers has much more experience, and I think that's going to be a deciding factor. I think Pittsburgh defense is arguably at times it has been better than the Chargers defense has been. So it's going to be that could be a real slugfest between those two. So could be. I think this can be a respectable game from both sides. I believe they're playing at SoFi, so I'm going to take the Chargers in that one. I think they'll beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be like one of those 3-point difference games. So, um, and then Monday, Philly and Green Bay. Now that's Green Bay. I don't know what to think about them because on one hand, they beat the Lions first game of season, like they've got all this stuff going for them, and then they drop games to Carolina. Now, don't get me wrong, Rico Dowdell is amazing, but they shouldn't be losing to Carolina. So I think Philadelphia is just a better team as a whole. I think Green Bay loses to them. So, which I know is probably going to piss off Tom Grassi and his boys. But hey, I mean, what are you going to do? Yeah, I think so. That's my opinion. I like Green Bay and Rashawn Gary and all that, but Philadelphia is just the better team, and I think that tush push as a side to Philadelphia, obviously, the tush push is gonna get banned next year. There's no way that that play comes back. There it's just getting to be ridiculous, and of course, the refs with the against the Giants, the ref just blew that just horribly. So I think tush push will be gone next year for sure. Um, Obviously, Cincy, Dallas, and Kansas City and Tennessee are on a bye. But, whoever was playing Tennessee, they almost had a free game. 'Cause Tennessee is a complete dumpster fire. Kansas City is starting to peak, starting to get back into the rhythm more. Dallas, that loss against the Cardinals was ugly. They need to figure out what's going on offensively, especially because they have some real talent there. It ain't being utilized. In Cincinnati, oh boy, oh boy, their defense was awful. That game against the Bears, Joe Flacco had a generational game. Threw for like 470 yards, and they lost. Oh my goodness, Cincinnati needs to invest in something. Goodness, but so that's the NFL games coming up. So it's kind of the midway through season. So I thought I'd do something just to a little change up for the normal college stuff. So uh, best of luck, and obviously we don't hoping to get anybody gets injured. That's not how we operate. But at the same time, we do hope that our the teams we like and the players we like get wins. So yeah, but hopefully Detroit pulls out a win. I'd like would be nice to see them kind of get back to where they were last year, not get booted out in the wild card. So maybe get a little revenge on Minnesota without getting too crazy. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And hope you all having a good evening, morning, whatever time of day it is when you see this. And thanks for watching. Peace.